good afternoon. Welcome to our Thursday Live. Today we are having a Thursday Live within our beautiful Tjhoko Paint concept store in Potchefstroom. It's the northwest province of South Africa, and if you haven't been here before, just look for the town that is freezing cold, then you will find us here. Today we are going to have a creative fun session, and we are going to make something special for Father's Day. This is what we are up to, and I'm going to share tips, tricks, ideas, just being creative. And yeah, if it's the last minute Father's Day preparations, I'm here to share ideas. So it's lovely to visit our Tjhoko family here in Potchefstroom, and welcome to wherever you are watching from. Something that I often ask is share where you are watching from. It's lovely to always meet and see the amazing people from all over the world. Okay, so today we are going to work on a raw timber surface. So there's no preparation required when we work with Tjhoko paint on raw timber. Just a quick dust and then have fun. I am going to work with, on the board that I've already prepared, a different stencil was used, but it wasn't in the Potch store. So I'm just going to work with different designs, and that's also the amazing thing, is the versatility of our stencil range. Okay, so I'm selecting a stencil, and for this session, and this is also something that I always mention, design and color are things that are personal. So you select designs and color that you like, and that works in your space. Also, now bear in mind, I'm doing this on a server. It can be a biltong board for dad, or it can be like a serving board, it can be a meat board. Tjhoko is non-toxic, it is food safe. But these techniques and steps can be applied to furniture pieces, to walls. This is just a smaller item for the purpose of a Thursday Live. It's something that needs to be quick and easy. The first product that I'm going to use is called Stencil of Paris, and sorry for those that know this so well by now. But we always have new Tjhoko family members on the group, so we share freely. I'm using a paint scraper. I have secured my stencil with masking tape, and now onto my surface I'm spreading my paste. So I keep my scraper at more or less a 45-degree angle. I'm not pressing hard, I'm not feeling anxious. It's not necessary to press hard and to feel anxious, because you simply spread the paste out nicely, evenly. And this actually creates texture on your surface. For those of you that don't know, we have a stunning YouTube channel where we freely share ideas and inspiration. So there are so many things that you actually can do with the Stencil of Paris paste. So I'm just smoothing it out. So if, for instance, as you can see here, Kaylee's here with me, there's slight maybe raised areas caused by the applicator, and when you remove your stencil and the paste has dried, you can sand to remove any unevenness should you want to. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now what I'm going to do, while the paste is still wet, I remove my masking tape, and I also remove my stencil. Just want to make sure that it's loose here. And I lift my stencil from the one end to the other, and just see how beautiful this is. So yeah, I've made a bit of a mistake, but you can fix it. So if you use something like a earbud or a toothpick, that can easily be fixed and allow for that to dry. Okay, the stencil I can wash in water and reuse. I'm just going to put it down below me. Now over here is a board that was already stenciled earlier today. So there you can see, there's the two sides that we've stenciled. I've made notes. Gustav actually helped me in the shop. And what I'm going to do, step 2. It's very important now for the stencil base to dry. Now the thickness of application and the way the place rolls in terms of how long the drying time will take. I'm going to work with 2 colors, but absolutely your choice. My first one is David. My second one, Comforts Blue. So our colors, for those that don't know, are named after people in our business. Tjhoko is focused on job creation and empowerment. So David and Comfort are actually 2 people, with 2 amazing people with 2 amazing colors. I'm using a used brush. I'm here in the pot store. I'm working on raw timber. It's not like I'm painting a kitchen or something that needs to be perfect. And there is already texture on the wood. So the quality of brush when working on raw timber surfaces where there is already texture does not matter. But when we are painting smooth surfaces, like for instance glass or melamine kitchen cupboards, we don't need to apply primer. We wash it off well with lacquer thinners. And then if you need to paint, I would rather use a Hamilton's Enzyme brush for those smoother surfaces. Mohair roller works beautifully for larger flat surfaces. And if you are working with a foam roller, please watch the video on our YouTube channel with tips and tricks when working with a foam roller. Okay, so David on the one side, and then on the other side I'm going to paint with Comforts Blue. So onto my raw timber surface. You can apply masking tape here where the cut line is, just to make sure that you actually paint within the cut line. I'm taking shortcuts. Okay, so there's my first coat, and you actually don't need more than that for this item. So this is a decorative item, it's a gift, it will be stunning. We're not taking shortcuts, Dad deserves the best. But this is more than sufficient. Okay, always make sure we do the edges as well. Everything needs to be perfect and beautiful. Okay, so this is now step 2. Now we allow for the paint to dry. I'm just going to put it down. So drying time is anything from 20 minutes to 40 minutes on smoother surfaces. In winter months, everything takes longer to dry. When you live in the Cape Town area, hello, and it's so wet. I've seen the rain in Stellenbosch this week. Total craziness. I've quite recently been there. Can't believe. Then we actually recommend to wait longer, because when it's humid, it's wet, the evaporation process with paint just takes so much longer. Okay, now I'm going to share some creative ideas. Okay, so on my surface where I've painted with the Stencil of Paris, I've painted with a Comforts Blue onto the Stencil of Paris. I'm going to use my brush that I've painted with the David. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I remove any excess paint. So it's nice and dry. And this is now called a dry brush technique. So I'm just going with my dry brush. I haven't dipped it in the paint again. Going to brush over this surface. And as you can see, almost instantly, all the detail gets accentuated. I'm changing direction on my dry brush technique. So a dry brush technique is like it mimics a sanding effect, but it's so easy and so little product actually gets used. Okay, so that's what I'm doing on this side. then, how beautiful is that? Let me just lift up so that you can see. Then on this side where I've painted in David, I'm going to do a wet distress. Okay, so it works like the following. I'm going to work with our antique brown glaze, and I'm actually going to use that. I use the mixing stick and I just stir it well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, I'm just going to, so it's, oh, you make a mess like me. So this is, let me just see if I can see. Kaylee, can you see what quantity is in here?
1/4 of a cup.
So it's a 1/4 cup. Okay, so a 1/4 cup is 60 mils. 60 mils of antique brown glaze. And now I'm just going to use a drop of matte black. So the matte black, more or less, just a drop. I'm not going to add the entire jar. So to state this clear, because I'm now not working in my kitchen as normal, it's more or less 3 parts antique brown glaze, 1 part 20 mils matte black, and then 1 part cooled boiled water. Okay, so 3 parts antique brown glaze, 1 part matte black, and 1 part cooled boiled water. So it's 60 mils antique brown glaze, 20 mils matte black, 20 mils cooled boiled water. And the reason for the cooled boiled water is due to the fact that our tap water contaminates paint products. Whatever is left over here, I can put in an airtight container and use again. Okay, what I'm going to do next, just creating some order, is I'm going to wet a piece of mutton cloth in some water. And it's also my cool boiled water, so I know no contamination can happen at all. I squeeze out excess moisture. So it's nice and damp, but not wet. I don't hope the street noises make too much of a problem with sound. Okay, so now I take a clean paintbrush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint onto my dry stencil of Paris surface. It is rather cool, so I'm not going to start wiping away with my damp cloth immediately. Else I will just remove everything that I've just painted on. So what I want to achieve is I want the antique brown glaze to sit in the grooves and crevices caused by the raised stencil technique. And this is a stunning technique to do on furniture pieces. Also, if you don't want to do the antique, you can actually mix in our clear glaze any of the Tjhoko colors and wet distress in exactly the same way, but just with color and not with antique glaze. Okay, what I'll be doing next is I'm taking my cloth and I'm folding it like a ball in the palm of my hand, and very, very gently I'm just start to wipe away. So I don't press hard. I want the detail to sit behind. I'm sure this is something that my dad will love for his new braai room, Dad. I'm in Potjesdorp. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Okay. And now you can decide how much you want to remove. But can you see how beautiful this is? And how quick and effortless. Now on the wood, I actually just want to sand the wood. This is just pine wood. So it's no expensive wood, nothing special. Although I'm making it special, and the fact that I'm doing it myself just adds more specialness to everything. Okay, here's my stick. I'm not going to use my mixture now. I'm still working with the antique brown glaze. Okay, and I'm mixing through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same cloth that I've just used for my wash technique, and I'm going to weather stress my wood. Now usually I say wet the wood and then you do this. You can also do that because then it just absorbs the colorant nicely. But I quickly want to show you something. So I apply on my raw timber my antique brown glaze. Make sure it sits in all the crevices and grooves. Just make sure everything is neat. And then I take my scraper and I actually just on that wet surface scrape. And can you see how the grain of the wood gets accentuated? So there's the natural grain of the wood, and the scraper actually just helps so that that graininess actually gets revealed. And each piece will look different because the pieces of wood is so different. Look over here. So there you will see on this piece of wood, and this now has also dried, but I'm going to show you something next on my surface I'm working on. But can you see how this piece, the lines and the grains are accentuated? Okay, now I'm going to do the same over here. Just make sure there's some antique brown glaze on my cloth. Okay, so in previous videos I have shown where I first wet the wood. Let me show that because it is helpful. So what you do is you first wet the wood, because then that antique glaze, which is the colorant for the wood, it's the stain. And the nice thing is you can also add Tjhoko colors to your antique brown glaze if you want to mute the darkness. So say for instance you want it in lighter tones, you can mix something like Lebos Light to your antique brown glaze, and then the glaze will have a different tone to it. So there are so many options. And what I do is I use my scraper on my raw timber surface and I scrape, and can you see how the grain of the wood just comes to life? And absolutely I will make sure that it's nicely evenly done all over. So you will take some time with the detail. I just want to show in the crevice over here, in the groove, what I'll do is I'll just paint some antique brown glaze on to make sure there's a nice even straight cut line. Then use my scraper and just repeat the process. Okay, so that there's no definite break between my paint where I've painted and where I have applied the antique glaze. I just went over the edge and I'm just removing with a damp cloth while it's still wet, or you can paint over. There's always a way of fixing anything. Now, I quickly want to show a next step. So you know the David brush I started with in the beginning? I'm using that same brush. I'm just going to add a little bit more paint to it. Also David. I remove excess on a dry cloth because this is a dry brush technique. And now what I do is I just brush over my wood. So I just want to settle down the wooden look. So it's nice and soft. No one will know that this was pine. And normal pine wood is now a beautiful cheese board. It can be a biltong board. It can be a meat board for Dad. You can apply our clear glaze just to make it more stain resistant. 3 parts glaze, 1 part cooled water with a damp cloth, and just evenly wipe it on. And then you can also attach some handles. So look, there's something as simple as normal pine. So this is what the board looked like when we started, and this is what it looks like now. And it's quick, easy, and it is a beautiful gift to give to someone. I would love a gift like this, but this is not for me, it's for a special dad. So to all the special dads out there, this is a message from Mama Tjhoko and the entire Tjhoko team. May you have the most beautiful and blessed Father's Day ever. Let's not focus on the physical gifts, but the gift of love and the gift of sharing memories together. Lots of love. Enjoy Father's Day. Till next time, signing out from Potjiesdorp. Bye.